Foster. Sit back and relax. It's time for your daily dose of Big D energy.
What is up, Big D energy? Yo, 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 here we go. D-Mac, Darren, McCarty, T-Foss, Terry Foster. We got Flannel Sam. We got Spencer Raxter. We're ready to go. First day of December, gentlemen. No Neil rule.
Sunny day. Oh, you know what? That's terrible.
Terrible what? No
that
Neil?
Neil is not here.
Well, he's
now he's going
from sand to snow. So I think yesterday he was, what did he go, from the Bahamas, and now was in Cleveland?
No, I thought it was Antarctica.
Antarctica, that's on his way.
Close he's going down to see the penguins.
That's it. Well, that's what he deserves
You know what?
to do.
If you'll indulge me, I have some historical Red Wing questions to ask you.
You do?
If you'd like to answer them.
Well, sounds good. Listen to all our people out there, woodwardsports.com. Get in the chat thread. Quentin Yearling, first in today. So, Terry, I think that...
And they're fun questions.
In reference to Spenmo Rax at the game last night, right? Couldn't will the boys into an overtime victory, but willed them into a nice 3-goal third period comeback to get a point. I think it's apropos. Plus, Neil always wants to start off with those stinky Lions.
He does.
We can start off. T-Foss is bringing you hockey today. Here you go, Terry. Let's do it.
All right. When back in the day with the Red Wings, I'd always heard rumors that Martin Lapointe was going to become Red Wings captain one day. Of course, that never happened because he left. He was with the Bruins. But what qualities did he have to become captain of the Wings, if any?
Well, if you look at the pedigree of Martin Lapointe, obviously being the first-round draft choice, but he was the captain of Team Canada in junior. He was captain of his junior hockey club. He's been a leader all the time. I think with the Martin Lapointe, his vocalness, we call him the Bulldog, right?
Okay.
So his nickname is the Bulldog because he's built like a bulldog, but he's intense. He's one of the most intense guys there is, and I think that what you look for in a leader, Terry, is somebody who tells you once and shows you twice. Now, the ultimate leader, Steve Yzerman, we called him E.F. Hutton. And if you're old enough to remember the E.F. Hutton commercials when E.F. Hutton talks,
those.
People listen. Well, that's Steve Yzerman. So Marty Lapointe, absolutely. I think that's why you see, he wore the A when he went to Boston and different stuff like that. But he's in a leadership role. If I was going to compare him to what type of leader he would have been comparable to a captain around the league, he would have been in the Jerome McGinley category.
Okay.
Right? So he was and I played with Jerome McGinley, captain, and he led, more with physicality, more with that type of play, more with a bark, right? But different ways to lead, different ways to respect. So.
Okay. Back in the day, who did you guys? I guess you didn't fear anyone, but who are you more concerned with? Peter Forsberg or Joe Sakic?
Well, here's the one thing: you never wanted Joe Sakic to get the puck where he could get his shot off. But Peter Forsberg, like the all-around, because you had to deal with the physicality. Peter Forsberg, I remember, Terry, in the old arena in Denver. That he had the puck come to center ice, and I had him lined up, and he had the puck, and we knocked the wind out of each other. It's the hardest, I think I've ever been hit. Remember we know the Datsuk reverse shoulder check?
Sure.
Well, that Forsberg was the king of that. One of the only times I ever saw Nick Lidstrom get beat one-on-one was Peter Forsberg beat him out of the corner. So Forsberg, because of the physicality, because he liked to engage in it. And the more he did, the better his game got. So we feared Joe Sakic, but it wasn't. It was a different kind. You had to there was more of the 5 tools you had to prepare for Peter Forsberg down the lineup.
Okay, now here's the tough one. I know you guys like upper body and lower body injuries.
I think that's the Scotty Bowman likes upper and lower body injury.
But they do that all across the NHL.
Well, I think he started it.
Here's one. If you hurt your hand, is that a lower body injury or an upper body injury?
You know what? It doesn't matter. That's probably either or. The hand can go either or.
That's true.
Right? So the object is to throw the other team off so that they can't target you when you come back. So specifically. So what you would probably say with that is a head injury.
A head injury. Even though it's your hand.
Okay. Right, because they're going to take headshots at you, not hand shots.
Okay.
Yeah.
That is cute. Now, in the hierarchy of the Red Wings locker room, let's say you're going through a tough stretch. It's okay for Steve Yzerman to say something, Martin Lapointe to say something. Can a goalie, is he allowed to address a team because he's not out there skating with you the whole game? He's not out, he's just standing in goal. But if there's some parts of the Red Wings that are going south, is a goalie allowed to address the team and say, hey, fellas, y'all messing up and here's what we need to do?
Yeah, absolutely. To what extent depends on maybe your tenure or who you're talking to. But here's the thing, Terry, is once we figured out how to depend on each other and why each other was more important, it was more natural, right? So it didn't really need to be said. You understood what was going on. But yeah, Mike Vernon, great example of leadership where he would be a voice in the locker room even between periods, and he was the goalie. Ozzy doesn't say much. Dominic Hasek, he won't shut up sometimes, right? Manny's quiet. So it depends on different goaltenders, right? Whereas, too, I will tell you this. So Chris Osgood in 98 to Chris Osgood in 2008 was different as far as his vocality, right? So a lot of times it depends on tenure. Tenure is a big thing in hockey, like how much games or cups or different things like that. But at the end of the day, the self-awareness in the room, get your head out of your ass. Right. That goes without saying.
Sure.
But we could yell at each other.
Okay.
Yeah, no. I mean, there'd be screaming fits at times. But because at the end of the day, it's all about winning, right? It's not personal. Come on, man, you can't do that again. You have, I know, then don't do it. I won't do, you said that last time. You do that, like different stuff like that. Accountability. But,
so if we had
I cleaned that up, though? That was pretty clean.
If we had cameras in private moments and the public got to see that, were there a lot of times where the people say, oh, man, what's up with these Wings, man? They're killing each other.
No, because today's day and age where you have to see where it comes from, right? So you have to know. And I think that with our team, not just because we won in 97 and 98, but because of the whole team, fan base, and everything going through the Vladdy situation, there's a lot more compassion or a lot more understanding. So it's a deeper, family unit, different families. Some families communicate by screaming and yelling. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, that's where the love is.
All right.
So and I think you saw that, Terry. I think you saw that. Whether you wondered that, all you have to do is look at the guys on the ice during the 97-98 celebration at the beginning of November, right? Where just a bunch of kids, and I said it before and I say it again, with all the hierarchy in attendance, leading all these NHL teams, either GMs or coaches or presidents or whatever. From that whole weekend, the 3 days, it was nothing but being together like we were in the locker room 97, 98. And that's something that you can't trade or you cherish forever. And it's like Stevie said, Steve Yzerman said this after we won the first one, Terry, no matter what happens, where we go, whatever else, we'll always have this to share. And he was right. We got to share it.
Big Red.
And finally,
yes,
when I was growing up, my favorite play in the NHL, believe it or not, was the hip check. How common is that in the NHL today?
I think you'll see one. Yeah, well, not as common as I guess back in the day if it was more apparent, but it is a skill. I've seen Mo Sider throw a few. I've seen different guys throw a few. So, a lot of times, Terry, look at the way the rules have changed, the way that you've called it, the way they call the game compared to when I played.
It seems like it's every sport as well. You going back, we can't do that today, or it's not as common.
I call it softer. I don't know if it's softer, but it's more I guess I never understood, right? I was taught, you go through the middle with your head down, you get hit, you're stupid. You're an idiot. Don't do that again, right? It's not the guy who hits you's fault, right? He's teaching you a lesson. Well, nowadays they don't blame the person that gets hit with their head down. They blame the guy that hit him. It's sort of like life, right?
That's what used to make me mad every time, somebody would get Cronwalled. And then later into his career, at the twilight of Cronwall's career, when he would, demolish someone that was coming down the boards with their head down, they're all jumping him and punching him. I'm like, you should be telling your guy to get his head down. He shouldn't be with have the puck with his head down, or he's going to get smashed. That's what happens.
That's the whole thing. Sometimes, and I've seen it, is one of your guys gets lit up, and it's his fault, but it doesn't matter.
But you still have to defend him.
You got to fire in there. I remember, and Detroit Dabber brings it up, is that the open ice hit is sort of the lost art, and the most vicious one, and I remember, is Vladimir Konstantinov hitting Dale Hawerchuk, right, in Game 4 at center ice. That it just, oh man, I felt it. I was on the bench and I felt it through my body, and it's one of those things when you see, Terry, and I don't know if it happens in basketball this way or basketball players, but when you see like sort of a legend or a guy who's a Hall of Famer get sort of at the end of his career just get crushed like that, I felt a little bit bad. I wasn't feeling bad we were going to win the cup, but I mean, that just was like...
I'll tell you a story about that. Rick Mahorn, back the bad boy days, they're playing the L.A. Lakers in the finals. And Rick was not a great offensive player, but he had a little move he thought he could do on Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Throughout his entire career, he couldn't do this move. But at the end, he did the move. So Rick does an up and under move, lays it up on Kareem. Then he falls out of bounds to us, and he points to Kareem and says, "Oh, motherfucker."
Oh, God, that so sounds like Rick Mahorn. Speaking of basketball, Michigan State lost to Notre Dame yesterday. Spence, tell me a little bit about your experience at the game.
Yeah, it was awesome. That was
you had good seats too. What happened there?
They were so my buddy, he was my general manager when I was an assistant manager at Coney Island. He's one of my best friends at National Coney Island, and his name, we call him Mustache, Mike Tiskevich. His bosses, Paul and Rob, they're the district managers over there. They have the Red Wings season tickets, and they give them out. And he gave them out, and they're 5 rows behind the net. It was really sick. That was my first Red Wings game at Little Caesars Arena.
So what did you? And you've been to live hockey games before and stuff like that. But what was that experience like? Not and forget the building. You're gonna have to go about 4 or 5 times just to get the atmosphere of it. But did you see the game a little bit differently?
Oh, yeah, it was awesome. You're seeing it right from the net. You're looking on the power play. I'm watching Perron's eyes. You can see Perron and Larkin's eyes scoping out the whole power play. I was chirping Anderson from when it was 4-1. I was like, "Hey, 4-1, you're gonna choke, bud. You don't got it, bud." And I was just chirping him the whole time.
Well, do you know why that was? Because you must have been hopped up on Cintron, bro.
Oh, yeah, that's for sure.
Were you hopped up on Cintron? And I want to say we're going to put a little asterisk next to that point when it comes down to the end, Spenny, because you get credit for that point and that comeback point last night. But you were hopped up on Cintron because you were down at LCA.
I was hopped up on Cintron, and the Red Wings must have been putting down some Cintron coming into that third period, because Cintron is the official energy drink of the Detroit Red Wings. Cintron has combined all 3 of their delicious flavors for a limited edition 6-pack sampler box. Try Cintron's great tasting cranberry, the classic and sugar-free all in one pack. Pre-order your Cintron 6-pack sampler box today at cintronworld.com/Red Wings. Get energized with Cintron, and let's go Red Wings.
It's back. Year 3 of Woodward Sports Stuff-A Studio is here. The past 2 years, we've collected new unwrapped toys and stuffed our studio so we could hardly fit in it. This year, we're doing it even bigger. Join Woodward Sports and our whole family December 19th to the 23rd as we stuff our studio. While you're out shopping or just sitting on your couch ordering presents, make sure you grab one extra and drop it off at our studio, 15 Mile in Woodward and Birmingham. We'll be collecting toys around the clock. to make sure every child in Mott's Children's Hospital feels the warmth of the holiday season. It's the time of year to do for others. Help us stuff our studio. Special thanks to all the wonderful elves at Meyer and Guardian Alarm for keeping the toys safe. Stuff a Studio 2022 with Woodward Sports.
What's a winter wonderland if you can't shop, eat, and play? Lucky for you, you can do it all at the Downtown Detroit Markets, Cadillac Lodge, and the new winter version of the Monroe Street Midway, all located just across the street from Campus Martius Park. Find the fun at deckedoutdetroit.com.
Hi, I'm John from Better Rate Mortgage, and to me, family is more than blood. That's why I have the biggest family in Metro Detroit. If you're looking to buy a house or refinance and need a loan, come get treated better than family by me and our entire team here at Better Rate Mortgage. We pride ourselves on giving you better advice, better service, and a better loan experience. That's why we are Better Rate. If you're looking for a new mortgage, come get treated like family. Actually, better with Better Rate Mortgage. Visit us at mybetterrate.com or call at 248-480-4467 today.
Well, I asked the boys in the back to give me a before and after of Ryan Ermani with Custom Health Centers, the customized approach to weight loss when you're ready to put the work in. Allegedly, maybe not, this is the transformation, but this is like the transformation that I've seen every day when he's come in. I know for a fact, talking to Ryan Ermani through Custom Health Centers, he's been able to lose close to 20 pounds. Now, I'm a little skeptical on the photo on the right because I don't think my boy Ryan is brave enough to get a tattoo, but I'll look into it. But just like this, he's putting the work in. You can be too.
Stop making fun of Ryan, man. He's too ripped for me now.
Absolutely, too ripped for you. Give Dr. Jason a call at Custom Health Centers, 844-789-8446. That's 844-789-8446. Custom Health Centers, if you want to put the work in, like our boy Ryan Ermani, this could be your beach bod too. Give him a call today. Welcome back, Big D Energy here on December the 1st. Terry Foster, Darren McCarty, we got Sam Flannel, we got Spen Mo Rax. A lot of excitement down in Allen Park yesterday. Why? Oh, there was some video of a young deer. Oh, no, I'm not talking about hunting season. I'm talking about wide receivers. Yes, Jameson Williams made his appearance in his first full practice of the season. Terry, couple questions. I think, Spencer, we got a little video on this. Let's take a little look at them so we can all, if you're watching here on woodwardsports.com, we can take a look and see how Jameson Williams looked in practice yesterday. Here we go. Oh, that number 9. It looks sleek. It's never been faster. Oh, even his trot.
And
look at that trot, Terry.
I'm looking at the little chicken legs he's got.
Little chicken legs with a little burst.
But he's fast. But the Lions did what every team does. When they have a guy that's fast, they always show the first videos with no full pads on because he looks faster. He looks sleeker. And so it's a little trick that NFL does.
Yeah, but are you mad at them for that?
No.
When it comes to him?
Not mad at him, but I'm just saying, wait a minute. He may not be this fast when he plays against the Jags.
Oh, okay. I just got excited, Spencer. I don't know if you or Sam are excited. Just the fact that he's out there.
Yeah. It's good to see him not carrying that stupid football around.
Amen, right? Because we're getting closer. I think we've talked about it here on Big D Energy is that we've waited long enough. Let's just make sure he's healthy. The worst thing to me, right, is, and that's sort of up in the air, and we saw it with finally getting Josh Paschal in on the defensive line, but then he's missed a few games. I don't want that for Jameson Williams. Spence, what did you see when you saw this? Because me, it was sort of like, okay, I know that league clock started, but man, like, and now, Terry, I don't expect him to play this weekend.
He may not.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's okay with me, but what, Spencer, what did this mean to you?
It meant a lot to see him out there and to see him actually getting some drills in. And Jared Goff said afterwards, after the practice, he said he's fast. He's very fast. He's not great at ping pong, but he's very fast. And so you like to see that. And even when he was doing sprints with the other receivers, you see him 5 yards in front of him, and Amon-Ra St. Brown looks at, I don't know if it was Craig Reynolds or Josh Reynolds or Lucas Raymond that he was running with. He points and he's like, this kid's something else. So he's going to bring a whole nother element to this team. I hope he's back for Jacksonville. I really do.
Yeah, he's going to bring an element that the Lions haven't had before. And like I've said before, the NHL is full of teams with good players. But what you have to find, in addition to those good players, you have to find somebody who is a difference maker, somebody that is just so different that instead of you saying, well, I'm going to take what the defense gives me, now because of Jameson Williams, at some point the Lions are going to be saying, forget that. We're going to take what we want because he's so fast.
Well, didn't you just say that what do good teams or better teams, and these are perennial playoff teams, what do? They make other teams react.
Adjust to you.
Game plan. How many times we got to focus on this guy? We got to put 2 guys on this guy. We got to double team, the Aaron Donalds and do all this. You've actually taken one person and made the coaching staff on the other team spend a lot of time figuring out how you're going to shut it down, and sometimes that doesn't work. Now, if you see him this weekend, are you fully confident that nothing, like he's not going to re-injure his knee or anything like that?
I will never be confident of that because you just don't know.
Okay.
But here's what I am confident of. I think this guy is going to be a close to generational player. He's going to be someone that you're going to say, whoa, what the hell is this? Now I see what Brad Holmes saw in him. I see why Brad Holmes was ready basically to redshirt him this year because of the speed, and he can catch the ball, and he's going to make teams adjust to Detroit Lions rather than the other way around. Now, let me give you a warning. You're not going to see it in Game 1. You may not see it in Game 2 because this town, if you don't, people did it with Aidan Hutchinson. Hutchinson did not have a good first game. And I already heard, is the guy bust? No, you're a rookie adjusting to the National Football League. I'm going to take it back in the day with Herman Moore. Herman Moore dropped passes his first few games. You know why? Because he couldn't see. And so they had to fit him with some contacts or glasses or something. And once they did that, then he became Herman Moore. Now, Jameson Williams is behind everybody. He hasn't played the first half of the season. He hasn't really had a training camp. So he's not going to be great. Well, let me just say that. Chances are he won't be great his first game or even his second. And we may not see it this season. But this is a guy, trust me, here I'm going to say that those 2 words, that's going to be a difference maker.
Right, and I see it in the chat when we're comparing them, whether it's Philippines On Demand or Chief or Ryan's reaction, talking about the speed, the 100-meter speed or whatever. But that doesn't matter. You're in comparison with Tyreek Hill, right? So whether you're faster than him or you're not faster than him, we can agree that it's pretty close. My question, Terry, and this isn't even to Spencer, who, he's waiting to see the video of Goff not being able to get it to Williams downfield so he can say, I told you so.
So we get to see Goff underthrow this guy.
Well, I can't wait till that. I can't wait till that happens, and then Spencer's going to lose it.
Oh, for sure.
Out of the booth. But Terry, I'm trying to think back. Has the Detroit Lions organization ever had this type of weapon?
Well, yeah, his name was Calvin Johnson.
Okay.
But Calvin Johnson.
But still in a different, as far as a dominant, you're looking for Jameson Williams' dominance to be on the lines of Calvin Johnson's dominance, but they are different receivers,
in a different way. Calvin Johnson was a guy so big, so powerful, that you look down the field, there's 3 guys around him, you threw it anyway because he was going to get the ball. Jameson Williams. And, of course, I can't say definitively because he hasn't played in the NFL. I've only seen him in college. He's a guy that's going to stretch that defense, and he's going to be open behind corners or if he does a little back route. He's going to be that guy because of his speed. He's going to be open. Calvin wasn't open a lot of times. We got the ball anyway.
How about this, though? Let's forget what he's going to do himself, right? As far as down the field, catches, yards. What's he going to do for the rest of that receiving core and the tight ends and, out of the backfield? Does this not open up more room for Amon-Ra St. Brown over the middle?
I was just thinking about it. It's going to be St. Brown's going to be even more dangerous because now when you play the Lions, you think, okay, we got to concentrate on St. Brown. He's still open. Now he might. I think what might happen with St. Brown is he'll catch the ball like he's been doing, but he might get more yak yards because safeties are playing off and corners are deep with Jameson Williams. So, yeah, he's going to help other guys. I think with St. Brown, it's with the yak yards.
Is there, and I know we're not comparing quarterbacks or anything like that, but the offensive system, is it fair to say, right, where if you're a defense against the Lions, you're 30 yards to the line of scrimmage because you're not worried about Goff beating you with a deep ball. Whereas opposed to if you're Kansas City with the weapons that they have, and especially when they're healthy and they got Valdez-Scantling going deep, that might make it 40 yards that you got to cover, which... That's the biggest thing too. Is that maybe that's a chat post question, Spencer. Will Jameson Williams have a bigger impact in himself personally in his stats, or what he does for the rest of the offense? But
you know what? Now teams are going to really have to adjust to the Lions because if you're playing the Lions, you still want to have 8 in the box because they're a good running football team. So now you got a guy.
Get this? Does anybody get what I'm painting here?
Right.
The picture of how this guy not only, and I just talked about the receivers and the catching ability, but doesn't it make your offensive line, which is already your biggest asset, even better? Does this not only make the guy with the most touchdowns, does Williams still have the most touchdowns? Right? His running or whoever else, doesn't that make that better because of what you said?
Right. Jamal Williams should be happy, or DeAndre Swift if he ever plays again.
Wow, you know what's amazing? It's like when I watched other teams' football and commentators talking about, oh, well, you got to watch out, putting guys in the box because this guy can beat you.
I know, but don't you see what playmakers do? Now, if they brought in another quality receiver, just a fine receiver, you know what I'm talking about?
Give me who's a quality receiver that comes to mind across the league that you would say if they had a guy brought in like this guy.
See, I'm only thinking of high end guys.
Like a second, like a Hartman or like a somebody Like, what are we looking at? Like a possession? You need a possession guy?
Yeah, if they brought in a good possession receiver, then you would say, okay, I respect this guy.
So what Chicago thought they were getting with Juju Smith-Schuster almost.
Right. Maybe a guy like that. I respect him, but I don't have to change my entire defense because of him. Now, because of Jameson Williams, you may not change your defense, but when you're trying to stop the Lions' run, you're looking around like, okay, is this guy going to burn this whole secondary? So I gotta at least think about that.
That's unbelievable.
That's what a playmaker does.
Well, I think that maybe just that piece to the puzzle to open up the key because of being special, but what it does to everything else. You know what else is special, Spence?
Yeah.
And I got to experience this, and I'm so grateful, and you can too. But shout out to these guys for hopping on board because it's absolutely delicious. T-Floss knows.
Oh, yeah. It's definitely special. And that, of course, is Cousins' Maine Lobster. We got that. The Final Word didn't get that. Big D Energy got that.
That's
and
right. We're special now, baby.
Woodward Sports is brought to you by Cousins Maine Lobster, Detroit. Check out their food trucks rolling around the city, the tastiest lobster rolls, lobster tacos, and more, including that lobster grilled cheese that me and Terry had. That was something else.
Yeah, that was good.
Go to cousinsmainelobster.com and search locations to find the Detroit schedule or download the app to order ahead and earn points. Cousins Maine Lobster, you can't go wrong. I'm telling you. It is great lobster. So go check them out.
You know how good it is?
I love Woodward Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on Shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Beverly Hills Golf, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
Introducing the Planet Fitness Guide to getting that post-workout glow. Step 1. What's your why? More epic energy? Better sleep? Blow off steam? Step 2. Join Planet Fitness for just $10 a month and get moving in our clean and spacious clubs. Step 3. Bask in that post-workout glow. Join Planet Fitness today for just $10 a month.
Join today at any of the 50-plus Detroit area locations.
It's a great day to get some Centron in your life. Okay. There it is. Centron, here we go. Gotta grab the cranberry. Oh wait, it's 2 for $4. Gotta double up with the classic as well. Centron World, baby. Centron, available at select Kroger's, and if you wanna know how, go to @CentronWorld.com. You get dope like me. You know what? Why wait? Great taste, guaranteed.
Guardian Alarm, they keep you safe and give you peace of mind, whether you're home, on the road, whether it's business, whether it's personal, whatever it is, 24/7 local monitoring. I've been telling you about it for a long, long time because it is the real deal. So if you want to be part of the Guardian Alarm Woodward Sports family, you can, but I need you to call 1-800.
Stay out.
That's 1-800.
Stay out.
How many straight days of flannel protection?
167.
167 straight days of flannel protection, almost getting up to the halfway point. If you want your Guardian Alarm, also give them a call, 1-800.
Stay out. Get out of my house.
Guardian Alarm, your local security experts.
Attaboy.
Big D Energy back here on a Thursday. D-Mac, T. Foss, Spenmo, Rax, Flannel Sam. What do you got, Spenny?
I just wanted, before we get into the James Houston stuff, I do think we should talk about this because this is breaking news.
Breaking news by Spenmo Rax.
Breaking news. It was from Anthony Broome. This just in. Felony gun charges were filed against Michigan defensive tackle and captain Mazi Smith yesterday in Washtenaw County from an incident that took place October 7th. So this happened October 7th, but it's just getting put out there now.
Did anybody hear about, has anybody heard any inklings or whatever else?
Nothing.
Anything else reported as far as suspensions or legalities? What does this mean, Terry, if you're up and does he get to play on Saturday? Is this going to affect his status in the lineup, or do we got to wait to hear?
Yeah, I think we have to wait to hear because every coach handles it a different way. I think Harbaugh is one of those. I would suspect that he's going to play because this happened in October. And also the mentality of most coaches are, I don't want to punish the kid until there are legal ramifications unless he's found guilty. And because, they go by the innocent until proven guilty. And part of that is, it's a bond in the locker room, as you well know. But part of it is we want the best team that we want out there, and that's the number one thing.
No, absolutely. Now, is this Spencer? Did you say felony?
Felony gun charges.
Yeah. Does that not ring a larger bell, or I guess the fact that the due diligence? But Sam, your thoughts on whether he's playing to what Terry said? But my whole thing, does the fact that we haven't heard anything until now almost guarantee that they've been working on this behind the scenes and he's gonna play? Or is it more
he played
serious?
against Ohio State. He'll play against Purdue. But, this goes back. I hate to go old school on you on time. This goes back to when Bo was coach. They used to routinely hide stuff like this. Some dudes, and a lot of it was involving guns. We didn't know about it, and then it would come out like weeks later.
What do you think, Sam? This is your team, bud.
Yeah, I mean,
Shot to the groin here on this first break, second break.
It's an unfortunate situation. Mazi Smith is one of their best defensive players. He's a senior. He's a Sunday football player. And when you see felony gun charge, it definitely is a bit of a red flag. I don't know what his future is going to hold, if he's going to play. It's so tough. I mean, it's kind of weird that it's been a thing since October 7th, and we're just hearing about it now. He obviously got to play a full season, but I think there's a chance his status for at least this Big Ten championship game in the college football playoff is up in the air. We don't know a whole lot. I know it's just breaking, but as more facts come out, we'll see. Hopefully it doesn't turn out to be worse than you even think.
Well, remember when we were talking about going into Ohio State about the health of Blake Corum and all these guys is the fact that if Mazi Smith isn't, and I'm not talking about the game this weekend, I'm talking about going to the playoffs. Is it obviously hurt their chance, but are you worried even more, or can this guy be replaced?
I'd be worried without Mazi Smith going up against, like, if it were to come to Georgia or even like a USC, Ohio State, TCU. He's a very, very big piece. He's like the anchor of the defensive line. To me, he's like a poor man's version of what Jordan Davis was last year for Georgia, just that big nose tackle who just makes things happen for everyone else. So if he's out, I think I'll be a little bit worried. I would not pick them to beat Georgia without Mazi Smith. That's for sure.
All right, can I do my justice? Here's my justice. I'd make an example of him against Purdue. I don't care if he plays against Purdue or not. I want him in the lineup for USC, a rematch with Ohio State, TCU, Georgia, whoever it may be. So I would come out and say, here at Michigan, we have high standards. We don't like the fact that this is a felony. He's not playing against Purdue.
We're going to punish him against Purdue.
Right. I'll
and
jump
you know
all
what?
big and bad.
If he minds his P's and Q's till then, we'll let him play in the national championship playoffs.
And in the back of my mind, I'm like, well, I don't give a damn about Purdue. I just want him in that semifinal game.
Yeah, no, I think that for most Michigan fans, would you not agree, Sam, is that if you had to take, if the punishment is miss this weekend, be back for the playoffs?
Oh, I would love for that to happen. Terry, you should be in their ear right now. Like, oh, Purdue, we cannot
it's
accept.
Purdue, for God's sake.
Yeah.
We cannot stand for this kind of behavior. So we'll sit you against Purdue. Say, lay low, learn your lesson, and then, hey.
Well, up, yeah. I'm going to steal a line from Neil. Purdue Purdues.
They do.
Well, that's what we're counting on this weekend. Anyways, we'll keep an eye and an ear. Stay tuned to woodwardsports.com, and we'll have the latest if anything pops. But let's go from one end of the spectrum on the defensive line to the Lions' other end of the spectrum and talk about James Houston. 5 snaps, 2 sacks. I think what was poignant yesterday, I saw a quote by Dan Campbell. Spencer has it. It's up right now. Can you read it, Spencer?
Yeah, it says, when you watch it with your eyes, you're like, this kid's got something. And then you have Decker and Sewell and Brown and all of the offensive linemen are like, man, when's this kid coming up? And like you said, he had 2 sacks and 5 snaps.
What, Terry, what part of that statement, if anything, do you take from Dan Campbell saying that? But to me, when you have your offensive line, who's probably gone against him a lot in practice and stuff like this, sort of come out, whether it's unjust, I don't think it is, but just hey, doesn't it give you a little bit more legitimacy?
I like what he did on the field. I don't pay attention to when a coach says, man, my guys are saying, when is this guy coming up? I've heard a lot of coaches say, well, my players are all talking about this game. That doesn't mean anything to me. I want to see what he does on the football field in front of 60,000 people. Because do you know when the Lions had their best practices, according to the Lions?
When no one was there.
When they went 0-16.
Oh, okay. I thought
every practice was great. All those players are doing fantastic things, but they couldn't beat anybody. So that's why I'm just like, I hear you, but I ain't listening. I want to see what this guy, and he proved it on the football field in front of 60,000 people. So that matters to me.
So now, what about you guys, Sam? What do you obviously you were impressed, but it goes to also to what Neil's always said about like Brad Holmes and another late round steal.
It's just another diamond in the rough kind of late round pick making big time plays in big time games. 2 sacks in the Thanksgiving game. Are you kidding me? Against the Bills, He now has more sacks this season than Kayvon Thibodeau, as I've said before, and I will continue to delight in that. And not only were those, 2 sacks, they were 2 sacks in big moments. The first one was at the end of the half when Buffalo was driving down to either score a touchdown before half or kick a field goal. It was 3rd down. James Houston sacked Josh Allen and held Buffalo to a field goal. And then the second one was right after the safety, obviously a big point in the game. I think if the Bills go down and score a touchdown at that point, game's over. The morale for the Lions is shot. But on 3rd down, James Houston sacked Josh Allen again. So those are 2 of the biggest plays in the game made on the defense by a 6th-round pick who hadn't really played all year. It's just, where does Brad Holmes continue to find these kind of guys? It's actually unbelievable. I know we were all super impressed with him.
Jackson State, shout out Coach Prime. Shout out HBCUs. They put him out there, and he was a highly touted recruit. He went to Florida. Things didn't really work out for him at Florida. He could never find his way. He transferred to Jackson State. Coach Prime got him in there, got him working. Ended up getting drafted by the Lions in the 6th round, and we see that explosiveness. We see that, what made him such a highly touted recruit to go to Florida and the success he had at Jackson State.
Now, Terry, like you're talking about Jameson Williams as being finding that specialist or whatever, this could be sort of that guy on defense, because the one thing is that pops out in my mind is that only 5 plays, right? But that's probably a scheme-specific thing, like getting another team in 3rd and 7, 8 long yardage, which you get a chance to do it. Is that more of the case, or do you look to see him taking more snaps, or is this okay to have a guy that comes in there, plays 6 snaps, and gets a sack?
No, he must play more, because if you're going to plan on playing him 6 snaps a game, there's going to be a bunch of games where he doesn't do anything, because you have to be in that rotation. Now, if he's in that rotation on the defensive line, then that's where he can become very, very dangerous.
So do you expect? Is that what you would expect? And it's,
yeah,
it's one of these things because
what's the thing the Lions need? They need depth.
Right.
When you get one injury, what happens? They fall apart. Except this year they've played over injuries now, but now starting next year, I think Brad Holmes obviously is looking for good players, but he's got to build that depth where when the Lions are injured, then they don't automatically lose games, and that's been the case for years and years and years with them.
Well, it's almost like we always talk about the best abilities, availability, and the fact that they're figuring out how.
But
to
even
get
if you're not available,
up.
There's another dude that's going to come in.
That's what I'm saying is that it's a process. You look at that offensive line, which is supposed to be one of the best in the league, and they haven't been healthy all year, and still they're finding a way to pump out Jamal Williams leading the league in touchdowns and the running game to still be effective, and they're only going to get better. Gosh,
you know why? Because when I look at the Detroit Lions offensive line, I don't look at 5 dudes. I'm looking at 8 dudes.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And that's so what you're saying here is maybe what Houston, we see him more become one of these 7 or 8 dudes rotated in on defense. And that's because it can only help. Yeah. Right? It can only help just like, oh man, when I'm hungry, where do you go, baby?
You got to go to Big Boy.
Oh, where do you go, Spenny?
Obviously, you got to go to Big Boy because for a limited time, all new burgers and loaded fries are back at Big Boy. It's not the Slim Jim, it's the Big Jim. The chili cheese is such a tease, and guess what else is new? The bacon blue. How about upgrading those fries? They got chili cheese fries. They got nacho fries, and Neil hates on them, but they're the best. They got the baked potato fries. So make sure you go satisfy those taste buds at Big Boy.
It's back. Year 3 of Woodward Sports Stuff-A Studio is here. The past 2 years, we've collected new unwrapped toys and stuffed our studio so we could hardly fit in it. This year, we're doing it even bigger. Join Woodward Sports and our whole family December 19th to the 23rd as we stuff our studio. While you're out shopping or just sitting on your couch ordering presents, make sure you grab one extra and drop it off at our studio, 15 Mile in Woodward in Birmingham. We'll be collecting toys around the clock to make sure every child in Mott's Children's Hospital feels the warmth of the holiday season. It's the time of year to do for others. Help us stuff our studio. Special thanks to all the wonderful elves at Meyer and Guardian Alarm for keeping the toys safe. Stuff a Studio 2022 with Woodward Sports.
When it comes to making your haircut truly an experience, there's no better place than Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Come to any one of our 26 Metro Detroit locations for an award-winning haircut experience and qualify for a chance to win a down payment for your dream home up to $200,000. Our precision haircut and talented stylists will have you looking good, feeling good, and give you a chance to change your life forever. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
3 NBA championships. Detroit fans were there. 11 Stanley Cups. Detroit fans were there. 4 World Series wins. Detroit fans were there. And that one Lions playoff win in 1991. Yeah, Detroit fans were there. Woodward Sports, where the fans are.
Chili Peppers Tanning is where you'll find the cleanest salons in the D with spotless sanitized rooms and trained certified tanning professionals. Join the Pepper Club for all the best deals. They'll beat the competitors by $5. Don't forget to pick up the Australian Gold, Designer Skin, Caltan, and my favorite, the Swedish Beauty lotions. ChiliPeppersTanning.com. Hottest bulbs, hottest deals, darkest tans, your vitamin D headquarters, 27 locations, and more coming. Make sure you check out Chili Peppers Tan.
Nice, Benmo Racks. That was a good one.
Thank you.
He's becoming fit every day.
I just don't understand one thing about Spinmo.
What's that?
Like, when you guys are going to do a read, he counts you down.
Yeah.
Why does he count himself down?
Sam's got to know to unmute the mics.
Yeah.
All right.
That's a communication between the booths, Terry.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm not on the technical side.
That's it. There it is. That now you know. Terry Foster, Darren McCarty, Big D Energy, no Neil Rule. He's on a bus. Where they go ahead? Syracuse now. He's out doing
Cleveland and to Syracuse.
Yeah, doing all that from sand to snow.
Yeah.
He no limits. We were talking Detroit Lions football. We brought up Jameson Williams earlier on. Seeing some of the speed, as Terry said, like all NFL teams do, with no equipment on, make them look faster. Great comp in here. I think it was C.J. Snyder. He's a faster C.D. Lamb, sort of built like C.D. Lamb, sort of slight stuff like that. I see a lot of the chat talking about him. Terry, is that you have a guy that goes into the hard areas already. Maybe you add that second guy that goes into the hard areas, but you keep your Ferrari, your Lamborghini running fast to the outside.
Oh, yeah, he's not going into the hard areas.
No.
He's going into the open
I
areas.
expect him to be used a lot similarly like Tyreek Hill. You know, so talking more offense, obviously Jacksonville in. I just had a question. Are you guys, when Thibodeau and Hutchinson played, when the Lions and the Giants played, there was a little bit made up. This weekend we have the number 1 and number 2 overall from last year's. Is that on your radar at all?
I think it is. I think it's got to be on your radar a little bit. Penei Sewell missed practice yesterday. He was out with an ankle. I think it's just like a rest day. Like I fully expect him to play and fully expect him to start. But yeah, you want to see what happens, because Dan Campbell in his press conference yesterday said the Lions thought very highly of Travon Walker. They were like, we liked what we saw out of Travon Walker. Obviously, he ended up going number 1 overall, so they went with Hutchinson, and we'll see. We'll see what's going on there. We'll see. Penei Sewell put Kayvon Thibodeau in a phone booth, so if he could do the same for Travon Walker, and Hutchinson goes out there and does this thing, gets a sack or something, or maybe another interception, It'll be a great feeling.
Now, let's talk a little bit about the game, and we mentioned that the Lions, beginning of the week, were -1. Now, are they not home dogs? I believe last time
I think it went from -1.5 to -1.
Oh,
so they are home dogs.
So they are getting a point at home?
No. They're
given a point. But the line has sort of moved. I just heard I was maybe
last time I saw Jacksonville was favored by 1.
So Jacksonville's -1.
Yes.
Yeah, so Detroit's +1.
Yes.
At home. Home dog.
Yes.
There you go. Well, that means
that's what we call them.
What's that?
That's what we call them.
FanDuel has Detroit -1.
Okay, so Detroit's -1. Whatever. It's going to be the close game. So, Terry, I'm wondering, is your expectations from the beginning of the week changed to now? To your point about Penei Sewell, today's obviously you want to see at least him limited today. I heard he was he was out there doing like sideline stuff or exercises, so that's always a good sign. But what kind of game, Terry, do you think?
Well, here's what I'm looking at. We have the expression "same old Lions," right? If it's same old Lions, it means that the Lions will lose this game because they're coming off a game against Buffalo where everybody's praising them. It was every now and then the Lions have losses that seem like wins. But often after they do that, they lose the next game because they're flat and they're reading their press clippings. And Taylor Decker came out passionately and said, we're not the same old Lions. We're going to get our respect. To me, what they did about Buffalo is not a sign of not same old Lions. It's going to be what they do in this game. And once again, I'm speaking to my younger audience who only knows the Lions from Quinn Tricia, but the Lions used to beat teams that they had no chance of beating, but they would beat them. Then everybody's all excited, and then the next game they'd play 1-5 Chicago and lose 17-16 or something stupid like that. So to me, I'm seeing if there's progression from the Lions, and we will see this against Jacksonville on how they handle this game.
So is there something that you will be able to come out of this game and knowing for sure? Because when you brought up the Taylor Decker comment, I think that what's different is the talent level and the fact of the football ability of the team. What's not different, as we've seen, is some of the coaching decisions.
Yeah, but the Lions have had talent under the same old Lions moniker. In the 90s, they were good, but they still gave away stupid games. They had a pattern of starting slow and then winning games, and then later on they would start slow, and then once they were eliminated from the playoffs, and all of a sudden they started winning games. That was same old Lions.
That's the biggest misnomer or whatever else. Spencer, what are your expectations? Or I guess what are we looking, like Terry said, they got to change. We complain about coaching and all that stuff, but we got to change the operating where we come back after a game, maybe we were out of or should have won, and win the next game. Yeah. That shows difference. What are you looking to be told at the end of this game?
Yeah, I'm looking to see. I agree. It's Neil called it a close loss or a good loss, and jokingly, it was. And so we need to see that they've had the extra time. They played on Thursday, so they had the extra 4 days to rest, to get healthy, to get past that, and to move on to Jacksonville. And I'd like to see them go in there, shut Trevor Lawrence down, because Travis Etienne, who is there, he's been a great running back for Jacksonville all season. He's a little banged up, so he's not going to be 100%. So Trevor Lawrence is coming off a career game, probably the best game of his career, and I need to see them shut him down. I need to see that defense step up. It's getting healthier. Guys are getting back in there. We're going to have Jerry Jacobs, Jeff Okudah, and are going to be back in that defense. So the Lions should be able to utilize that to put a scheme. I'm looking for the national media and all of us in local media to be saying, yeah, this is different. Like Terry said, they're not going out there and mailing it in after almost beating the Bills. They're not riding that high still. They're focused on Jacksonville. They had the game plan for Jacksonville, and they beat Jacksonville.
Is this not the game to figure out who's for real? They're both 4-7. They're both sort of,
Yeah, it's that. But from the Lions' standpoint, they don't have to shut down Trevor Lawrence. They don't have to shut down the running game. The defense doesn't have to be great. Jared Goff doesn't have to be great. Just win the freaking game.
Win the game, baby.
That's it.
Just win.
Style points are not important. After you've shown what you're capable of against Buffalo, you have 10 days off. You get Jacksonville at home. Just win the game. I don't care if it's 3-2. Win the damn game.
There should be no excuses with the time off in the NFL, whether you're playing at home or on the road, and the fact that they've been home for Thanksgiving. It's sort of the treat. So if you really want to see something that has changed, this is a great test. And I think you're right, Terry, because what have we proven? We're not going to. Trevor Lawrence might throw his best game. He might throw for 330, but it's that bend but don't break attitude. Wow, it's getting lunchtime.
But you know what? Let him throw for 330, but when he's coming down to either tie the game or take over the game, intercept one of those passes.
Yeah, Terry, at the end of the day, just he can throw for whatever, just win the game.
That's
all we're
play.
When we're sitting, so Terry, when we're sitting here, we're sitting at Feldman on Monday in Novi, and we're talking about the game. As long as they just win the game, then we can break down what they did wrong, what they did right, what they did wrong. But the fact is, if they win the game, then that is proven to you that it has changed.
Well,
or
trending.
They're working
How about
towards,
trending? Yes,
they're trending towards the change. Yeah,
because for me to say there's change, I want to see them win a playoff game.
Okay, there it is.
That's what I'm waiting for.
All right, Sam, tell us about Swiss.
Yes, but not Hammond Swiss, unfortunately. Swiss Insurance. With the holiday season here, Swiss Insurance wants to remind you to insure those gifts of jewelry or collectibles. In the last 2 weeks, Swiss has saved its clients an average of 26% on their insurance premiums while increasing coverage. That's a lot of money to free up for the giving season. Happy Thanksgiving from Swiss Insurance, and go blue.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on Shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Beverly Hills Golf, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
By now you know me, Christina Gennari, as the obvious choice in real estate. And you know my website, soldchristina.com, as your #1 resource for buying or selling your home. Myself, along with my amazing staff, pride ourselves on making your home buying and selling experience a relaxing and easy one. Come see why we are the obvious choice. Christina Gennari at soldchristina.com, the obvious choice in real estate.
We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side.
Lemieux and McCarty, who've had a good knockdown drag up. There they go, right on the whistle, baby, talking to one another.
Woodward Sports.
Downtown Detroit is all decked out this holiday season with the return of the Cadillac Lodge and the Monroe Street Midway. The Midway has a giant slide, winter bumper cars, and an indoor arcade, plus you can grab drinks at the lodge before or after games. Shop, eat, and play downtown all winter long with Decked Out Detroit. Check them out at deckedoutdetroit.com.
Welcome back, Big D Energy, Darren McCarty, Terry Foster, Flannel Sam, Spencer Raxter here. December 1st on this Thursday. Just chatting about, talked a little bit Wings, talked a little bit Lions, big game this weekend. I wanted to pivot, and you know what, maybe the fact that we had breaking news about Mazi Smith, defensive tackle, University of Michigan, charged felony firearms from back October the 2nd. One of the things that has been this conversation around Big D Energy between Neil, Terry, Sam, Spencer, and I, but hasn't brought to you guys is what happened, Tom Izzo's response to what had happened to the tunnel gate or whatever like this. And I think it's important that Terry, because I think you had an opinion about this, but if anybody hadn't seen it, what Tom Izzo went off on the blue wall in media and about, saying that everything's biased, Michigan and stuff like this, because the charges that were filed and suspensions and stuff from the incident in the tunnel. Terry, what do you?
I think a lot of time Izzo's response is ridiculous. You were stomping people in the tunnel. You were using a weapon to beat the hell out of another guy. It wasn't like they had a little friendly scuffle, because now Michigan State people want you to think, well, it's just a little scuffle. No. If you do the same thing on the field, you're kicked out of the game, you're scrutinized by fans. I have never seen, and I've watched a lot of football, I have never seen a guy repeatedly kick somebody else in the stomach like the Michigan State players did in that tunnel. I not seen during a live football game somebody taking his helmet off, or maybe I saw it once. Take your helmet off and you beat the hell out of somebody
Myles Garrett.
in their head. Right. What happened to him? He got suspended. He gets fined. That's a serious offense. And what I don't understand is why Tom Izzo is so upset that Michigan State got fined $100,000. That's chump change to Michigan State. Is Tom Izzo going to have to pay that fine? No.
So what was behind? So break it down. What was behind? You got the video here. We're gonna play the video so everybody can catch up to speed with what's going on. But this was Coach Izzo responded to being fined for the incident in the tunnel.
But I'd like to know what your guys' opinion is, because you guys see all this stuff, but you never write it either. So I ain't real happy with you guys if you want the truth. I already told you that. I know. Starts bad, ends bad. So go ahead. You can give me another question, and then I'm walking away. But I'd like to know my question. Why don't you write something? Why don't you write something? Huh? Why don't you write something? Huh? Why don't you? You must think it's okay. If you do, call me and tell me what part of that would have happened if it would have been handled right on the front end after 2 in the last 6 months that I know of happened.
And you know, hearing what Tom Izzo said, and I don't, I agree with you. You take the fine. I don't condone anything. You can't swing a helmet to literally, injure another person in the way that it's been handled. But to his point, Terry, of this, what did we mention when we first came on? Everybody's talking about the security at Michigan in the tunnel. How old are these dudes? What are these guys going to do? Do you not think he has a point when he said there's been incidences, 2, 3 other incidences?
He has a point that Michigan is protected by the media. I agree with that. That tunnel in the media should have become an issue after Penn State. It should have become an issue after Michigan State. It should have been an issue after. There's been incidents before with Ohio State and Michigan, but we didn't hear anything about it, so it didn't exist. He's got a point that Michigan is protected, but there's something else that he needs to understand, is that this is not just the media protecting Michigan, but like we found out about the gun incident. Michigan and the police department in Ann Arbor, I don't know if they have an agreement, but there are things that athletes can do at Michigan and the media doesn't find out. At Michigan State, there is a different police department philosophy. If somebody from the Spartans does something wrong, it's coming out. It's not the media digging, it's the giving it to them. So there's a different mentality. The big blue wall is not just an imaginary wall. It's that program being protected. And a lot of times it's from authorities, and maybe Michigan does a better job of hiding things. If you cover Michigan and Michigan State, you get way more access at Michigan State than you do at Michigan. You get to know the players, you get to know the families, you get to know more than you do if you're a reporter at the University of Michigan. I think they do it that way because there's certain things obviously they don't want coming out, and they want the perception of Michigan to be a certain way.
But that's I get that. Sam, what do you got to say to that? Or what, does Coach Izzo have a point to what he said?
It's hard for me to say, because on one hand, I understand that there is some sort of Michigan is more of a protected class than Michigan State some of the time, but sometimes I feel like the big blue wall media becomes like a political style talking point. It wasn't the big blue wall that hit the player over the head with the helmet, it was one of your players. It wasn't the big blue wall that kind of were the most culpable in the tunnel brawl. It was Michigan State players. So that's kind of what bothers me.
In that incident, but how about let's just dig deeper into the other incidents that happened before this, so this incident shouldn't have happened. Is there something like, I get it. Hey, the way of the world is you might not like it or not, but there's different strokes for different folks. Yeah. And the stuff about what Mazi Smith and getting hit in the media and hit by the police department, that happens in real life. If you're lucky enough for whatever reason, that's what's been built there. But to me, what Coach Izzo, there's a structural where it happens because it's happened before and it continues to happen. Now, does not. Right, what Michigan State did, we're all on the same page as far as that was atrocious.
Yes.
And that should never happen, whether they put implications in place or not.
Yeah.
Right, forget about it. But the fact is that you keep making the same mistake at different things. The one mistake about the cops in Ann Arbor, whatever the deal is, Big Blue Wall, that's not changing. So don't expect it to change. But the things that we see in the stadium, things that we see coming on again, aren't these the ones that are more upsetting?
Yeah, and that's he wasn't speaking. He has said that, hitting someone, rightfully so, hitting someone with a helmet, totally unacceptable. You cannot do that. Jumping a player in the tunnel, totally unacceptable. You cannot do that. The players were reprimanded. The players were punished, rightfully so. That is something that cannot happen. He was speaking to how first of all, they said Michigan's was they said publicly reprimanded was what happened to Michigan for the lack of security, and that's what he wanted, more expansion on that. What does that mean? What does publicly reprimanded mean? What happened? What details went into that? While the rightfully so punished Michigan State players have their charges, what happened to them, their suspensions all written out for Michigan. It said publicly reprimanded. And then he was also speaking to the John U. Bacon reports of Michigan State's sideline not being nice to Michigan players, saying mean things to Michigan players. While if you were in Ann Arbor when they played Ohio State in Ann Arbor, I guarantee Michigan's sideline wasn't going, "Great job, Justin Fields. Great pass.
Terry,
great."
Terry, isn't that the way it's always been?
I know that report by John U. Bacon was total crap. First of all, if you've ever been on the
isn't that
sideline,
the problem when you get guys feeding
when you're
total
on
crap?
a sideline of a football field, people are telling to kill this MFer.
Absolutely.
Because they're trying to steal your. They're not only trying to win a game, they're trying to steal your manhood. And a lot of times, you feel you can get in somebody's head by calling them names, saying I'm gonna bitch slap you. You ain't anything. The sidelines are mean.
Yeah.
And they're supposed to be.
But it's part of the game, right?
It's part of the game.
That's what I'm saying.
But then for John U. Bacon to come out and say, well, the Michigan State Spartans, they're mean to their opponents. Hell yeah. That's why they're Michigan State. That's why they've won.
Well, I don't condone the Myles Garrett thing, but that was in the heat of the play, right? And he was punished for it. You should never hit a person with the helmet. No. These things after, these incidents that keep happening, right? And I agree, this isn't on the field, and this shouldn't happen, but it's contentious. So you should know that these are high hormonal, young adult, late teenage kids. So shouldn't the adults in the room make sure that stuff doesn't happen?
Yeah, here's a big problem. Michigan has all these guys in their little yellow jackets, and they're supposed to make sure that the two teams stay separate. Man, these dudes don't do a thing. First of all, they're afraid. Second, they're like 90 years old.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
All they want is a little tag, their little yellow jacket, and they're able to say, "I'm in the stadium. I saw Big Blue win." They're not going to stop anything. When the Michigan State players were stomping the Michigan player, do you know what security was doing? They're like this, like, damn, man, he hit him pretty hard. Glad it wasn't me. And they do a damn thing.
No, that's the problem. That's all I'm saying is like everybody has to take accountability for what it is.
Right.
Do we not, like, inside the game, this hasn't changed, but the way that the lack of the compassion, this is not part of the game. And I think it's important because what is being said should not be ignored, right?
No, it shouldn't. But here's part of this is Spartan paranoia. Here's what the Spartans are saying. No, you shouldn't beat a man on the head with a helmet. You shouldn't stomp a guy, but the tunnel was long. But they taunted our players. But Michigan should be held accountable too. That's what they're saying. Now, you have another stadium in the Big Ten. You know the other stadium in the Big Ten? There's only one other stadium in the Big Ten that has one tunnel. Do you know where that is?
No.
It's Michigan State. Here's the difference. Michigan State, as soon as you walk off that field, those locker rooms are right there. Michigan, you walking up that tunnel, you got, it seems like a half mile to walk to get to the locker rooms. So it's going to have some engagement. When you walk off that field at Michigan State, you take a few steps, you're in that locker room. And so the teams are less likely to engage with one another. So Michigan does need to spend some money to either change the tunnel, and I'm sure they'll say they can't build another one, but you can do something to keep the teams separate if you want. Ford Field, all the players leave in one area. But once you get into the locker rooms, there is a partition that separates the teams. So you can go your own way, don't have to see a Lion or a Buffalo Bill if you don't want to. The Lions also have a second exit where they don't have to interact with any of the teams. It goes beneath the visitors' locker room. So the NFL is fearful that problems could happen, but they've already figured that out. Most teams go out of separate exits.
Just be nicer or whatever. But there was something to be said there about incidents happening over and over again to repeat yourself. So, yes, Alicia, we are going to move on, beating a dead horse, but we're going to stay in the college football because
I don't think we're beating a dead horse. Changes need to be made.
Changes need to be made. I freaking agree.
Don't run from this.
That's why I brought it up.
Michigan does have a problem that needs to correct, so let's put pressure on the Wolverines to make some changes. Everything Michigan does isn't great. They screw up too like everybody else. So what you do is you try to improve the product. Why risk having this happen again?
I agree. There's no reason. Right, Spenny?
Right. And then if you need a reason to get your swag right,
swag it up.
Maybe you want to be looking good for the holidays. You can go to Moneyball, because you can check out Moneyball Sportswear. It's your one-stop shop, whether you're looking for the latest in athletic apparel or you need new uniforms for your team. Moneyball has it all. Stop in a Moneyball showroom in Southfield and experience the only way to ball, or visit online at moneyballsportswear.com. It's Moneyball, the only way to ball.
It's back. Year 3 of Woodward Sports Stuff a Studio is here. The past 2 years, we've collected new unwrapped toys and stuffed our studio so we could hardly fit in it. This year, we're doing it even bigger. Join Woodward Sports and our whole family December 19th to the 23rd as we stuff our studio. While you're out shopping or just sitting on your couch ordering presents, make sure you grab one extra and drop it off at our studio, 15 Mile in Woodward and Birmingham. We'll be collecting toys around the clock to make sure every child in Mott's Children's Hospital feels the warmth of the holiday season. It's the time of year to do for others. Help us stuff our studio. Special thanks to all the wonderful elves at Meyer and Guardian Alarm for keeping the toys safe. Stuff a Studio 2022 with Woodward Sports.
At work and at home, we're there with smarter security solutions. Featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
3 NBA championships. Detroit fans were there. 11 Stanley Cups. Detroit fans were there. 4 World Series wins. Detroit fans were there. And that one Lions playoff win in 1991? Yeah, Detroit fans were there. Woodward Sports, where the fans are.
Planet Fitness is the official studio sponsor of Woodward Sports, also home of the Judgment Free Zone, where you can work out for just $10 a month or upgrade to the Black Card from unlimited guest privileges, hydro massage, or more. Join in club today or go to planetfitness.com. Oh my, I get to do this today. It is Planet Fitness, Darren McCarty.
Where your fitness is essential. Oh, shoes on the other foot there.
Damn, Skippy.
Wow. Flannel throwing it to me here. Big D Energy. Yes, Thursday, December the 1st. Darren McCarty, Terry Foster, Flannel Sam, Spen Mo Rax. I want to stay in the college football because as I'm listening, as I'm watching, and even if you want to check out a great interview by our own Braylon Edwards from the Final Word / Bottom Line about the college football rankings and the fact that do you think Ohio State, who is at number 5 right now, will be in? Let me recap. Georgia's number 1, Michigan's number 2, TCU's number 3, USC's number 4, Ohio State 5, and Alabama 6. Terry Foster, do you believe in your heart of hearts that Ohio State will make the college football playoffs?
I believe there is a very good chance. But I know the committee's been criticized for having Ohio State 5th, so they're right on the doorstep. And my question is, who the hell else would you put there?
Yeah.
When I look behind it, everybody else has got 2 and 3 losses.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but when you look at the
my ass, your job is not to lose. Ohio State has lost 1 game. I understand they got their asses kicked. The Alabama, I don't care how close the games were. Alabama stepped on the football field twice this year and lost. They stepped on the field a 3rd time and probably should have lost. Then I look beyond that. Everybody's got 2, 3 losses. Who are you supposed to put ahead of Ohio State?
Well, I think that's why I'm asking you. I mean, I think Alabama eyeball tests Alabama's a better team. I just have a hard time, and I hardly ever agree with Stephen A. Smith. But the fact that you got trucked at home in your building like you did is you don't deserve. You should almost rescind if they give you a bid, because that's the most embarrassing thing. Now, that's not being biased or anything, but to go on from that really does show you how bad college football is, right? To me personally, I think Alabama's a better team and they would deserve, but the teams that are in there, do they have that right at least? Sam Flannel. Question 1, Ohio State, do they get in? And right now, the top 4 teams control their own destiny, obviously. Even if Georgia loses, they'll still be in, right?
Yep.
Even if they fall to 4. Michigan, we're confident that they're going to take care of business. It is Purdue, though.
Ooh, big bad Purdue.
Purdue's, though.
Purdue does Purdue.
But the fact, so TCU and really USC control their own destiny. So if they just win, then it makes it easier on everybody else, right?
Just win.
Yeah, and I think that for the record that TCU and USC will win. But if they don't, Ohio State unfortunately does have a good chance of making it. But I think that people are mad at the wrong thing. You should be mad at Clemson for blowing their chance when they had a chance and losing at home to South Carolina. You should be mad at Tennessee for losing to South Carolina again. Those are, at some point, all of these teams are having 2 losses. Then you look at Ohio State. They have 1. Was it a terrible loss? Absolutely. They got killed at home by their rivals. But Alabama has 2 losses. Tennessee has 2 losses. Clemson has 2 losses. They all have been dropping like flies, and Ohio State is almost might get in by default. But if you're USC and TCU, just win, and Ohio State can be gone for good. Do I want Ohio State to be in the college football playoff? Absolutely not. But you got to put some blame on some of the other teams that have been disappointing as well.
So you say that they just because of the so you're more of because they're the last one there with the 1 loss that it's got to be them, nothing else.
If somebody loses out of the top 4,
yes.
But I mean, I disagree with Stephen A. Smith. Ohio State has 1 loss. And, yeah, they got their asses kicked against Michigan. But let me ask you guys a question, and be honest. Is Michigan a good team, a very good team, or a great team?
They're a great team.
Very good team.
Final?
Great team.
Yeah, I think they're a great team.
Great team. Okay. So you go through an entire season, you lose 1 game to a great team. So that means I should put you behind Alabama, who's lost twice. Should put you behind Clemson, who's lost twice. Put you behind Oklahoma and other teams who've lost 3 times.
No, just
I think they got
Alabama. It right. Just that bad, because how bad that loss is. Because you're only what's your big win of the year?
Yeah,
Notre Dame at the beginning of the year, and then Penn State. I'm just what it does to it shows you how bad, to Sam's point, that other teams really crap the bed.
Right
now, it's a team now. this is what is sort of set up for a TCU and a USC to control their own destiny.
Yeah.
What if they both lose?
Bama and Ohio State get in if they both lose. I think Bama, although they have the 2 losses, they're on the road, and it was by combined 4 points.
It just seems to me, and I know because it's Alabama, but we hold them to a different level than we do Ohio State.
Bama's gotten in with 2 losses before, No.
We hold Alabama to a different standard than the rest of the country. Alabama is the only team that can lose 2 games and get in. Maybe Georgia. Clemson has lost that status now because they haven't been that great the last few years.
I agree, maybe Georgia. There's 1 and 1A, but that sort of
two
changes.
Teams.
But
two teams can do that.
But we sit here all freaking year and talk about strengths of schedule and SEC and all this, so it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. You should just set your schedule up.
Bottom line is the committee's going to put in who they want to be in.
There it is.
What ratings?
Give Terry something. Give him a present because that's exactly what it is, isn't it?
Right.
They'll figure out their narrative.
Then when they have no recourse, they'll say, "Well, we put this team in because of the eyeball test." Eyeball test can mean anything. Just means I like the color of your shoes, so I'm getting you in there.
But so Terry, what would have happened if Michigan lost the same way Ohio State did? And I'm not saying they lost on the road. Ohio State beat them the same way. Is Michigan 5?
No,
that's what I'm saying. The same conversation.
The reason is because in the back of our minds, we think Ohio State, before they got their asses kicked, were legitimate title contenders.
Yeah.
Very few people looked at Michigan and said they can win the Natty. Ohio State has been in this tournament before. They've won it before. Michigan is still perceived as that team that's going to go in and get their asses kicked. So now that's what they got to change this time because they're not playing Georgia. They're not playing Alabama at its strength. So a lot of this is perceptions and what you've done in the past. It's not what you did this year. That's why Michigan, if Michigan had gotten rocked at the shoe, they'd probably rank behind Alabama.
Right.
I believe that.
That's, I guess, the problem that I'm having is that it's different strokes for different folks. But you nailed it, Terry. The committee's going to put in who the committee wants
and
in
it
there.
is different strokes for different folks.
Well, we
here let me still kneel. Both things can be true.
Well, it's true. Like if college football ain't the norm for that, we just got done talking about how different campuses are run.
Yeah.
How different information is run.
Right.
All these teams, and to the point, maybe that's just saying, but aren't more of the Alabamas, the Georgias, the Michigans run on more of a secrecy thing? Maybe that's
true.
Right? Like more of a under, like you're gonna find something out about Mazi Smith 2 months ago, right? Having charged felony thing out of Michigan to Georgia, Alabama 2 months later. Is there something to that as far as that big blue wall? Is that what's missing other places? Not saying
it is.
it's right
There's
or
a
wrong.
big blue wall. There's a big red wall. There's a big orange wall. There's walls all over the place. Now, if you ask anybody, is there cheating in college football? They'll say yes. Then if you ask them who, they'll go, I think it's this team. But you don't know. Like I think Alabama cheats. I think Florida cheats. Clemson.
Yeah, but it's not cheating anymore.
But I understand that. But I'm talking about under the old system, Bo. So, but you couldn't prove it.
No.
And for me, I don't think TCU or USC should be punished if they lose. I really don't. They're playing the extra game. Ohio State and Alabama are sitting at home. They don't have an opportunity to lose game. And because TCU and USC actually have to play real teams with a pulse because the Big Ten West is a joke, they'll be punished for a loss if they lose to Kansas State or they lose to Utah. I don't think so. I don't think they should be punished and lose that ranking because they lose in the championship game when the teams that would be jumping them in Alabama or Ohio State aren't playing this weekend.
Isn't this the impervial season of college football would be perfect to invoke? Like the first year of the 12 playoff system and breaking news.
Thank God this is the last year we have to talk about this.
Yeah. You know?
Because, we're going to talk about the 13th and 14th team. But really, I don't give a damn.
Yeah.
Because they don't have a shot anyway to win.
No, but here's and to your point, Spence, because, right, then the 5 and 6 team that don't have a game on their schedule that gets a sip. Like, this is sort of where a little bit to your point, your argument, it's a little bit unfair. But we'll all be tuned in. Should be good games. And
yeah, who's the 13th and 14th team this year?
Let me check.
You check that, and
I can guarantee I don't give a damn about any of them, whoever it is.
Absolutely.
It's probably LSU and
LSU. I was going to say, is LSU down there?
13 is Florida State, 14 is LSU.
There you go.
Who gives a damn?
Yeah, don't give a damn about them, but I give a damn about Alta. You know that. At Alta, uptime. It always matters. Alta Equipment has everything you need to get the job done. It's a little cold, a little rainy. You got some bog projects outdoor. Alta Rent, they got you covered. Give them a call today. 844 go to Alta. That's 844 go to Alta.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on Shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Beverly Hills Golf, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
For a limited time only, all new burgers and loaded fries at Big Boy. It's not a Slim Jim, it's the Big Jim. The chili cheese is such a tease. Guess what else is new? The Bacon Blue. How about upgrading those fries? Chili cheese fries, baked potato fries, nacho fries. What will it be? Satisfy those taste buds at Big Boy.
My name is Lee. I've lost 35 pounds on the Custom Health Center program. So the 3 biggest benefits that I've gotten from this program has been I'm not snoring anymore, I have a lot of energy, it's great, and oh, by the way, look at this. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding.
Call us at 844-789-THIN or visit CustomHealthCenters.com for a free consultation and get started for as little as $5 a day.
Welcome back, Big D Energy, D-Mac, T-Foss here with the fellas, getting you through another Thursday. Is it a thirsty Thursday?
It is a thirsty Thursday.
It is. What does that entail for the folks at home?
Well, I'm going to a Christmas party tonight.
You already Christmas season. Will this be your first Christmas party of the year?
It will be my first.
Now, do you have a Christmas party drink? Or like
I'm going to try something I haven't had before. I don't even know what it's called. It's where you get the margarita and they stick the beer in there, the bottle of beer.
Let's go to the professional.
Is it?
Spencer.
Yeah.
The professional, when you stick the thing.
The Corona and the margarita.
Yeah, what is that called? Something specific?
I'm going to have I think it's just a margarita.
What?
Slosh.
Slosh, yeah.
Is that what it's called? I don't even know what it's called.
He's going to have himself a slosh.
I'm going to have a slosh.
There you go.
Speaking of that, anybody, tonight is the Tom Killer Kowalski Killer Christmas, where a lot of your local celebrities and Fox 2 personalities and people that you know, anybody who didn't know. So tonight in Kego Harbor, at the Lodge, starting at 4 p.m., unfortunately, I will be out in Pinckney for the One's Honesty premiere, where I played the math teacher in the film that's going through on suicide prevention and stuff like that through all the high schools. You're T-Foss going to head up there for a cocktail?
Yes.
Now, will you tell the kids about the great man and Tom Killer Kowalski? And I believe he's been gone 17 years now. Now, he was the beat reporter for the Detroit Lions, and just so everybody knows, so revered and was honored by them because it is the Killer Tom.
Yeah, he
Kowalski
started the charity
Media Lounge, right?
Yeah, he started the charity, and what they do, the fundraisers to help get toys for kids, and so they have an annual fundraiser, and you go there and lots of beer and drinks and even bourbon as they call them.
Oh, they have bourbon in Kego.
Oh yeah,
nice.
Yeah, it's pretty sophisticated.
They don't have it in
out
Mount
there.
Pleasant, but they got it in Kego.
Well, Mount Pleasant does now because of me.
There it is.
Look at that. There's a few
you
stores.
can thank
No, no,
everybody
no.
in the chat thread. Thank T. Foss if you're drinking bourbon up in Mount Pleasant because it
That's
didn't
right.
exist before he did.
I bitch about things and I get things done.
Now, were you like being in the media? Did you know Tom well?
I knew him well. Yeah, we used to fight all the time.
Right, fight all the time. What would his take, from your opinion, know him? What would he be saying about the Lions today?
Whatever. He was pretty positive about the Lions. For instance, the way I used to pick, they would ask us every year, how many games are the Lions going to win this year? What I would do is I would see how many games Tom was going to pick, and then I would reduce it by 2. And that was my pick.
So he's sort of like Sam Flannel,
Right.
in the positivity department.
Yes.
National championship. No, but if you had
But
a chance,
he's a guy that liked to argue and have fun and drink beers, and he's just
sounds like my kind of guy.
Yeah, he's probably a fun-loving guy.
Absolutely. So if you get a chance, check out there. We're going to spend a couple minutes. It is Thursday. Obligated to talk Detroit Pistons.
Yeah.
Here, watch this. This is how impressed we are about the Pistons and saying everything. I'm going to go to the most revered Pistons guy here, Terry Foster. Terry, how's the Pistons doing this year? You been watching?
Yeah, they're awful.
How awful are they, Terry?
They're so awful. Didn't they just lose by 30?
30 to the Knicks. Yeah.
Oh, my God. They don't play defense.
No.
They don't have a rim protector. They don't have a chance. I like Jaden Ivey.
Is there any reason to watch?
No, there's not. The only reason to watch is there's these young guys around here just love NBA basketball.
Yeah.
But basically, the Pistons are not. Well, I'm not going to say they're not a fun watch. It's a really weird team. I think it's a team with good talent.
Ivy and Cade have been out for a while.
But good offensive talent. One, they don't know how to win. They don't know how to close out games. If you change your game plan, they do not know how to adjust. I question if Dwayne Casey is the right guy for these young guys.
When can we have that conversation?
Have it now.
Oh,
I don't care.
No, exactly. Is it proved? Is there, because of the talent? Is this something more of he's not the right guy because of systems to win in this league, or is he going to hinder development, or do you think they need a new voice?
I think most of pro sports has changed. That maybe the best thing is to have a guy with a little less experience, but who's younger, who can identify with these guys, who may not listen to the same music, but he knows who these people are. So, and they're doing it in the NFL, the NBA, and I'm not saying older guys can't coach. They can coach, but I just think the Pistons, to me, need a good, swift kick in the ass.
Yeah.
And say, you look sweet on offense sometimes, but this defense is an embarrassment.
Is it fair enough to say it's time to find a guy that comes to my mind, younger guy back in the day, is like a Spoelstra, an Eric Spoelstra, like when he started and sort of developed,
Right.
my stuff like that.
Someone like that.
Do you have any? Does anybody? I'll open it to the room. Does anybody have anybody in mind?
I'm actually thinking about an older guy in the locker room. They need a veteran that's seen it all, knows it all, and is a little bit of an asshole.
Like Draymond.
They need that veteran in the room to get in them.
Sort of like a Patrick Beverly, but take it down about 20 notches.
I wouldn't even take it down. I would just say, Patrick Beverly, be yourself.
So a guy like that, you think he would help in this room?
Yeah, but preferably he's 6'10" or 6'11" and can defend the interior.
Oh, now there's caveats, default.
Hey, man, I switch all the time, brother.
Spenny, I told you that we'll give you the Thursday. You got a few minutes. You got a few questions. Maybe throw out the boys?
Yeah, I can rip a couple questions off.
Rip a few away.
First one, Jalen Darren, he obviously has been shown to be our best paint defender, our best rebounder on the Detroit Pistons. Is it time for him to get thrust into the starting lineup? Take the training wheels off and let him go?
That hasn't happened yet?
No.
Damn. Yes. In the NBA, what you do is you reward guys for a stellar play.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't, at some point, you know what they're going to do? Sulk. Jalen Durham will just say, you know what? I busted my ass. I've done all this stuff, and I'm still not starting. At some point, you will lose him.
I only think because of his youth that you can get away with it for a year or whatever on this, but that needs to be changed. Obviously, it's the development, like you said, of the Ivies and the Durans, and getting Cade healthy is moving these guys forward.
Yeah,
he's probably still in the I'm just happy to be in the league stage. Yeah. But at some point, that all wears off.
He'll get to that point when he realizes that who he is.
That'll wear off fast for sure. And Isaiah Stewart, coming into the season, had a lot of big expectations on him about changing his shot, doing a lot of things, maybe moving to the 4. He came back. He had a little injury situation, but he came back in their last game, and he was 5 of 9 from 3. He, in his past, now it'll be 70 3-point attempts. He's shooting over 50%. Is this a guy that you can expect to continue that kind of production from beyond the arc? And is this someone who you could see being the Pistons starting power forward for the future?
You know, people may disagree with me, but I have high expectations for Isaiah Stewart. I think he's a tough guy. I think I need him to be tougher.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe he's that guy that tells his teammates, y'all need to pick it up.
Yeah.
Maybe he needs to be that jerk. He can't be a rim protector, but he can do other things. He can be rough. He can move people around a little bit. Hey, man, he wanted to kick LeBron James's ass.
That's for
he
sure.
won me over then.
Got some dog in him.
Yeah,
and be that dog. And you know what helps dogs? Making buckets.
Yeah.
Like more of that. So Spenny, I think that the volume is huge, but as long as they're using him, and he's getting like 7 to 10 opportunities a game, and he's still hitting at this clip, that brings the dog out in him.
Yeah.
The confidence that he's part of it and stuff like that. So I'm like Terry. I'm not giving up on him because he's got that dog, and the dog's hard to come by.
For sure, it is hard to come by. He is one of the few guys on the roster that really has that.
And you know
dog.
what I would do if I were him? Every time I shot a 3 and made it, whoever was nearest me, I would just tell him, kiss my ass.
Yeah.
That's what I would do.
And so he pushed Julius Randle halfway down the court in that last game when Julius Randle got in his face. But
keep it going.
And then I got a final question about the Pistons. Cade Cunningham possibly done for the year. It's still speculating. It could be with his shin splints. Jaden Ivey, undisclosed knee injury. It has nobody said anything about it. It's just a knee injury that's kept him out for the past few games. Are they sick for Vic? Are they going for Victor Wembanyama? Is there any other reason for the Pistons to try to do something this year?
As far as trying to
win, trying to do anything, or should they just
trade
lose,
for somebody? No,
lose
there
as
is
many
no
games
reason.
as possible?
You know what the best thing is? We don't even need to roll the tanks in for this team. They roll them in themselves every game, right under their rim, and they let the other team jump off them.
Are rolling in by themselves looking for the Pistons.
Yeah, no doubt. I think that, like, as far as just let it play out. And to the fact about whatever it is, if the name of Darren, Ivey, or Cunningham comes up, err to the side of caution.
Yeah.
Shut them down. Let's move towards next year or whatever.
You got no shot without them.
Yeah.
None.
That's for sure. And,
plus you can, if you do in the NBA the way it is, tank down, get that top 2 pick, and you're immediately adding somebody that, boom, you got 4 guys.
And this guy, they projected that Victor Wembanyama will bring over $50 million of money into the franchise that drafts him. Just off jersey sales, off overseas watching.
You know what? The NBA is going to do everything they can to keep him from coming to Detroit.
Yeah, he'll end up on the Knicks or something like that.
Pistons could win 10 games, and they're not going to get that number 1 pick.
Yeah,
they'll get it for Cade, but not for this.
Talk about
this guy.
cheating.
He'll end up in San Antonio or Houston or something.
You know, Patrick Ewing, the cold envelope with the New York Knicks, I believe.
Maybe it's our turn, Terry.
And, you know, if you subject yourself to watching this Pistons team every night, every game, you might need some help, and we got the place for you. That is SMA, or the Sports Marketing Agency.
Got you covered.
Because SMA helps spread awareness about mental health and substance abuse. Their new podcast, This Is the S Word, helps fight the stigma about seeking help. And trust me, everyone, I used to work in this field. I know stigma is a big reason why people struggling with substance abuse don't come forward to get the help they need. So if you or someone you know is struggling, go to thesportsma.com to get the help you deserve.
It's back. Year 3 of Woodward Sports Stuff a Studio is here. The past 2 years, we've collected new unwrapped toys and stuffed our studio so we could hardly fit in it. This year, we're doing it even bigger. Join Woodward Sports and our whole family December 19th to the 23rd as we stuff our studio. While you're out shopping or just sitting on your couch ordering presents, make sure you grab one extra and drop it off at our studio, 15 Mile in Woodward and Birmingham. We'll be collecting toys around the clock to make sure every child in Mott's Children's Hospital feels the warmth of the holiday season. It's the time of year to do for others. Help us stuff our studio. Special thanks to all the wonderful elves at Meyer and Guardian Alarm for keeping the toys safe. Stuff a Studio 2022 with Woodward Sports.
Introducing the Planet Fitness Guide to getting that post-workout glow. Step 1. What's your why? More epic energy? Better sleep? Blow off steam? Step 2. Join Planet Fitness for just $10 a month and get moving in our clean and spacious clubs. Step 3. Bask in that post-workout glow. Join Planet Fitness today for just $10 a month.
Join today at any of the 50-plus Detroit area locations.
Get a shot up. This is for the win.
All of Detroit's sports teams live on Woodward. All of Detroit's sports coverage lives on Woodward Sports. Driving the best in Detroit sports coverage.
What's going on, everybody? It's Spencer for the Foaling Warehouse in Hamtramck, the home of the original football bowling pin game called Foaling. Multiple different ways you can play. They've got $12 open unlimited play as well as private lane reservation for $120. If you get thirsty, they got a $2 mystery beer vending machine and multiple fully loaded bars for you to choose from. So make sure you go check them out in Hamtramck or visit them online at foalingwarehouse.com.
Welcome back, Big D Energy, D-Mac T-Foss here on a Thursday. Neil is from sand to snow, chasing the snow somewhere down.
Dad's gone, time to party.
That's it, absolutely. Corona Rita.
Corona
Terry
Rita
is what you were going to put back tonight, the Corona and the Margarita combined. Thank you to the chat thread. I wanted to pivot back here, guys. Last night, on the current 5-game homestand, game number 4, our Detroit Red Wings lost in a shootout, sick shootout winner by Buffalo, if you haven't seen it, by the way. 5-4, but we were down 4-1 going to the third. We were able to come back, get a point. 2-1-1 this homestand, where we said at the beginning of it, 3-1-1. Now, tough game coming Saturday. You got Jack Eichel-led Las Vegas Knights, who are 17-6-1, sort of regaining their form, playing well, tough team. The thing that I wanted to focus on is obviously you got to take a task at hand, but then you got a 4-game road trip starting Sunday, so you play back-to-back Saturday, Sunday, Sunday in Columbus, then Tuesday, Thursday in Florida, Saturday in Dallas, and Monday in Washington. Now you got that's the next week. So you got a 4-game road trip coming up. The one thing I wanted to bring to people's attention is the one thing, Terry, that is the most concerning to me. When you look at the Eastern Conference, right? Boston on top, Toronto on top, right? Boston is a plus 40 in goal differential, right? I looked at the New Jersey Devils, who are at the top of the Metropolitan, at plus 36. The Detroit Red Wings are plus 2. First team in the wild card right now, right? They're the first team in the wild card at 27 points. Pittsburgh and New York are 1 point behind them. But here's the one thing that you have to be concerned about, right? And why you need to get your points when you need to get them. The teams out of the playoffs right now, are the Rangers, the Panthers, the Canadians, and the Capitals. Right there. Right? So getting these points, and it's so imperative. And looking last night, Spenmo Rocks, you were there. Right? I brought up the other day, it's a continuing all year it takes to implement the 1-1-3 system and the defense and, some different goals. But really, how important special teams are.
Yeah.
Right? In games like last night. Now, I wanted to bring up the point where it's apparent where when you're playing the Western Conference teams, which is the other conference, and you beat them like you did Arizona in overtime, well, the point that you gave up, right, or that extra point in the other conference doesn't matter. The one you gave up last night in your conference to Buffalo, and then the extra one is the ones you have to watch out for down the stretch. So even though this team is playing well, I think they can play better. It seems that at different times. So I'll give you an example where I want people to, if they want to get into my headspace, Terry, is what I'm thinking is that if you want to see if this team has made these baby steps and making the advance, is when you get a 5-on-3 in the last couple minutes of the game that you make do on it. Or you make sure that you take those points away from teams that are chasing you in the standings. It doesn't get any easier. It's continued to get easier. That's why.
You know what the funny thing is? When I look at the Red Wings just play, and I don't look at the standings, I don't look at anything else and just watch them play, I think it's a below 500 team. But they're not. They're above 500. The other thing that we had talked about, this 5-game homestand, I just said pile up the points. Are you satisfied with where they are as far as piling up the points on this 5-game homestand so far?
Well, like I said, I got to wait and they got to win on Saturday. So if they don't win Saturday, then they haven't come up to it. Because here's the one thing about this Red Wings team is when we've sort of been disappointed and not counted them out, but thought that they were on their slide like they were earlier, they found a way to bounce back, right? They found a way to bounce back. Now, you have to look and see, because Derek Lalonde, does he have a pulse on his team, right? And the one thing that you keep hearing is the positive messages to a young team, right? I had to look at this because I was talking to, and I'll drop name, Jameson Williams yesterday, and saying I didn't, and I know that I watch Toronto differently because I'm so biased and I have that blockage, but I didn't see the game that the coach did until I went back and watched it and said, okay, we were in this, we had the opportunities. What DeLone said last night, you don't come back from 3 goals down in the third period in the NHL, right? So to get that point is so important. These are just like little crosses that they have to improve. But to your point, Terry, no. I think at times that they've shown flashes, but consistently they haven't been there. And to me, they are a 500 team. Like they can make that step, but they're just not doing it enough. Now, you look at each different game, it's not the same. You're getting the consistency like the Heronics, right? That's what you need to see. Check mark to that. You're getting the consistency on other guys. I always said that when you look at the new line in Kopp, Sundqvist, and Ernie, the size, right? Sundqvist, I noticed when he's on the ice, makes that team play bigger.
Yes.
So it's coming. It's just don't get super frustrated. And when I say that, it's because this year, right, if they're in the conversation at the end of the year that can get in the wild card, then that's a success, right? Right now, like, how many times has this happened, Terry, that you've seen? Because maybe they do things that we didn't expect, that we get our expectations ahead of ourselves. That's what I don't want to get.
I think that happens all the time. And what we have to do as observers, as fans, as Steve Yzerman, is you have to understand that when you do something super exceptional, when you're on the way up, then something super bad's going to happen. You're like, damn, I thought we had it made. But you don't, especially when you're moving up. But then there'll be a point, and it's probably next year, where they will hit on all cylinders, and then you're going to say, okay, this team is really good. But this year, I see a team that at times I'm like, yeah, look at these boys. Yeah, they're good. And then a couple days later, I'm like, oh my God, what the hell was that?
Can we agree though? Like, we have an NHL team, right?
Yes, this is the first year of having an NHL team.
Thank you, Terry. Give him a bell. I agree.
Yes.
Because that's a team that you can get behind. And you know what I love is being out, whether I'm playing Mayor of Hockeytown or out in the streets, it's like Spenny, is the fact that people tell me, hey, this team's exciting. They're along for the journey. They're along for the ride. There's a lot of fun players to watch. And here's the thing, Terry. It's starting to look and build like it was 20-some years ago, where guys that are coming in, hey, they might be here for something special. Right? Like, you're starting to add guys and stuff like that.
And, yeah, for me, for last night, obviously, you need to cash in on that 5-on-3. You have to. That was your opportunity to win the game. You have to cash in on that. And another thing that stood out was that line he had start overtime. I think it was Kopp, Rasmussen, and Perron. I was like, what is that to start overtime? It would have been
Sherratt.
Or Sherratt, yeah, Sherratt.
Rasmussen, Sherratt,
Kopp, and Rasmussen. I didn't understand that person. I mean, I understand the bigger guy, but like 3-on-3 overtime, you need at least a couple quick guys out there. The only defenseman I want to see in the ice in overtime is Seider and Hronik, personally. And then when it comes down to the shootout, I think you hit the crossbar twice. That hurts. But when this team is fully healthy, I think our 3 shootout guys, it's going to be Larkin, Fabry, Verana. And Fabry is coming back. He's hopefully going to be back soon. Everybody says he was great at practice. Verana, hopefully on the road to recovery, coming back. And when that team, that'll be a dangerous 3 in the shootout. And it just so happens that Larkin and Perron both hit the crossbar. It's
the way that it goes. It's the way sports works out. But again, if Terry says, and that gives me more confidence, but we finally have an NHL team that's going to find their way, right? And they got leadership. And, hey, just small flex. You mentioned Fabry there. That'll be the 6th guy in our lineup from St. Louis.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Right, so, keep answering that phone, Doug Armstrong. You're doing a heck of a job. You know what else is doing a heck of a job? And you can get involved. You got to get in there, get your hair did. Yes, Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Come to Lady Jane's for award-winning haircut experience and register for a once in a lifetime opportunity to win a down payment for your dream home. Up to $200,000, yes, $200K. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on Shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Beverly Hills Golf, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
The Sports Marketing Agency would not be who we are without great community partners like Higuera Health and Carol Zuniga.
It's an awesome opportunity to partner with your organization. Higuera Health is a comprehensive behavioral health organization. We serve children through older adults with mental health, substance use, and developmental disabilities across Western Wayne counties, and really excited to now be in downriver communities as well. Give us a call at 734-458-4601.
You don't have to go to the beach, man. You don't have to get your butt crack full of sand. You just need a little chili peppers, man, to get that glowing beach chili peppers tan. Woo!
With 26 locations in the Metro Detroit area and more coming, Chili Peppers Tanning is where you'll find the cleanest salons in the D. Join the Pepper Club for the best deals on unlimited tanning. Head to chilipepperstanning.com.
You just need a little chili peppers, man.
All right, time to talk about Phillips. No, not the great 1920s Canadian Olympian Heck Phillips, but Michael Phillips. Sorry for stumbling a little bit. Whether you're a player or a fan, helping you buy, sell, or invest is Michael Phillips' top priority. Being in the game for 23 years makes Mike the #1 option for anyone. If you have real estate needs, call Michael Phillips at 313-403-0011. That is 313-403-0011.
Did he say Heck Phillips?
Heck Phillips.
Heck Phillips.
Did you say a 1920s Olympic? Well, you tried to say 1920s. I couldn't. You could have said 20th century. That's what I thought you were looking for.
You know what we're going to have to do?
What?
We're going to have Spencer stand him up, and I want you to punch him in the stomach. That's what we're going to have to do.
Well, you don't think you could stand up and then you can punch him in the
Well, no,
stomach?
I was
you're
thinking
gonna
of
get
a
him to
movie.
hold him.
Hold him back so he doesn't flinch or try to protect himself.
I get it. He deserves a gut punch for that one.
Yeah.
But he went Canadian. Heck Phillips. I got your back. Hey, any of you baseball fans out there, I know this hit Maz hard. Gaylord Perry passed away at 84. Any of you music fans, shout out to Fleetwood Mac, Christine McVie, 79. This isn't a passing, but this is a signing by the Detroit Tigers and Scott Harris. Matt Boyd, 1 year, $10 million deal, coming back. Real quick, Terry, does that move your barometer at all?
That moves a little bit. I like Matthew Boyd, young Matthew, as a pitcher. I think what we're going to have to see with the Tigers is I don't believe this fan base can survive another rebuild. So what the Tigers are going to have to do is make sure that pitching, which is pretty damn good, stays together. They pay them and keep the band together, at least on the mound.
Well, it comes down to, again, it seems so far that Scott Harris has a finger on the pulse of what he needs to do and moving guys out of town.
He's talking to people, yeah.
Right, moving guys out. And I like Matt Boyd, too. And, like, real small, he's probably one of the longest tenured Tigers now.
Right.
Right? Anything like that. So,
but I think Scott Harris has done his homework. Not only is he evaluating by what he sees, he's talking to people within the organization, probably talking to doctors, talking to whatever about players. He wants to make sure that he keeps players that are going to be competitive. He doesn't want more candy men around here. He's stuck with Miguel Cabrera. He's got to withstand that for another year. But other than that, I think he's looking at guys and doing his homework on them.
but don't you mentioned it, because he said that this fan base sit through another rebuild. I think what they did was really smart because I think they put us all, as Tigers fans, off for the next year, and we are aware of what's going on, and it's all about Miggy. So to answer Scott Klingler in the chat, I'll be going down to Comerica to pay respects to Miguel Cabrera. It's the fact, I think, as a fan or a Tigers fan, don't tell me that it's gold when it's crap, right? Just tell me that we're working towards it. And Terry, to your point, if they show a commitment to these young arms, or that they're going to keep it together, not like what they did last time we had good young arms, right? Mm-hmm. Then they're going to have us buy in again. But I think what they did about announcing Miguel Cabrera's last year, it's sort of low-key will put more people in the stands.
I am not participating. I've seen Miguel Cabrera.
Well, you don't like shenanigans, though.
No, I've seen him be great. I know he's not going to win another Triple Crown. He might bat 260, 270 maybe. He hit 5 home runs last year.
I think he's had 60 in his last 6 seasons.
Yeah. Right.
You might be there for his last one.
That's true.
10 home. I'll survive if I'm not there for his last home run. I respect what he's done.
Are you going to go down? Because it's going to be over, I think, does that not, put it on the radar for having fun, going to,
I will go down there to watch the Tigers. I am not going down there to watch Miguel Cabrera.
I'll go down to see Miggy. He's my second favorite Tiger of all time. He's one of my favorite athletes of all time. Love Cabrera. I think he's the best right-handed hitter in the history of baseball, and it'll be good. It'll be like a Kobe Bryant. Like he had the send-off tour his last season. It'll be something like that, very similar. So I'm sad to see Miggy go. He ain't going out like pool halls. He ain't going out like pools. That's for sure.
He ain't going out hitting bombs.
Pools hit a heater. I don't know what got in there. See, I feel like they're throwing Pools meatballs at the end of the year.
Still hit it out. Yeah. Ask Terry. You throw Miguel meatballs and he'd have trouble. Sam, you're going to go down there, take your beautiful wife on a nice summer day to cheer on Miguel Cabrera and say thanks for ruining my baseball pool or something, something negative.
I mean, we'll see. I'm going to go to.
Are you going to legend kill Miguel Cabrera?
Hey, I will say this.
Watch him out,
Miguel
Sam.
Cabrera's final season is going to have something in common with Kobe Bryant's final season, is they're both washed up and terrible. Miguel Cabrera was great.
He's going out with
but
that
he's
one
been
today.
horrible for like 6
Just let him
seasons.
talk. He'll say something
Horrible.
stupid.
He already did. He already did. He already ruined Neil's rule of no slander Miguel Cabrera.
not
But Neil's
slander.
not here. Nice shot taken. Anyways, thanks for joining us, Big D Energy. We will be back tomorrow. Make sure you join us. Very special in-studio guest, our hometown hero. You do not want to miss if you hear about Sacrifice. This, my friends, is Sacrifice. Thanks for joining us today. Happy December for T. Foss, Benmo, Rax, Flannel Sam the Legend Killer. I'm Darren McCarty. Deuces.